Welcome to Digital Hospitality. I am your host, Shawn Walchef. I am here with David Meltzer, my media mentor. We did this series when I first met David back in 2019. 2019, I came to David. I listened to him on sports radio in San Diego, the Scott Kaplan show, and I heard a man that was playing the game within the game. So I own a restaurant in San Diego, been in business for 15 years, and decided to turn that business into a media company because I had this crazy belief, this crazy dream that we were living through a technology revolution, a storytelling revolution, and I needed to find a mentor. I found David Meltzer. 2020, I went to his office up in Sports One Marketing. I had him on the Digital Hospitality show. I shared my dream for our barbecue business, our small business, and told him I want to start generating revenue as a media company. And he did not laugh at me. He took me seriously, and he got me to the position where just last year we broke our first year of doing over 7 figures in media revenue. We have transformed our brick and mortar business. We are now a content business. We are now a storytelling business. And it took us longer than expected, but we're exactly where we need to be. David, welcome to the show. I'm happy that we're doing these calls again in public so we can publish them on multiple stages. Thank you for being here, and let's get after it.
Yeah, let's get after it. And you know what's so interesting is the evolution of understanding what you wanted to do has helped me to increase, accelerate, exponentially create results for myself and so many others, because at its core, most people would have said it's unbelievable to take a small barbecue in Spring Valley, California, and turn it into a 7-figure content media business. And it's just the start, because we both know how exponentiality works and how behavior compounds on itself. And the one thing that I had to make sure of is that you were willing to do the work, that you understood that behavior itself creates a distance, and the behavior, if it's not aligned with where you want to be or better, it's going to create a distance away from where you want to be or better. But behavior that's aligned with where you want to be or better creates a distance between you and what you want or better. And then to shorten that distance comes 3 things: wisdom, which you seek mentorship and ideas and events and circumstances and situations. It takes faith, because we can't see instant results. We can't see progress as it happens, as well as humility, that we don't know what we don't know. And I've recently added the 3rd ingredient into the distance of resistance that's created by behavior, outcomes, circumstances, consequences, karma, etc., to have that humility, because without the humility, we have so many people in the digital marketing space, in the media space, in the content space that actually think they know what they know. And I promise you one thing: regardless of the 7 figures that you make or the 9 figures that I make, I don't know what I don't know. I just know one thing, that every day I make sure that my behaviors are aligned with where I want to be or better. And that seems to get me an aggregation and acceleration and a compounding of the results and outcomes, consequences, karma, and luck that everybody wants in their life.
I'd love for you to talk about B2B content, because it's something that I consider you the master, playing the game within the game of B2B content. Obviously, you have followers across all the platforms, but something interesting on our last mentorship call, we were talking about the idea of so many people are concerned about content when they start producing content, of how many followers do they have, how many subscribers, who is watching. What you care about is who is watching, not how many are watching. Who is watching is so much more important if you're willing to speak your truth and you're willing to lean into the frequency of your content, of the truth that you believe in.
Yeah, it's who is in your neighborhood, not the size of your neighborhood. You know, I was born in the projects, similar to where you were born. There's a lot of people in the projects. But if I sat in a bench in the projects and asked for $1 million for a project that I was working on, I'd have very little help, very little assistance. My neighborhood's a luxury neighborhood. It's gated, looking over the ocean. There's not a lot of people that live in my neighborhood, but every single one of them wants to help me and knows people that can help me, and vice versa. The content that I have is based off of my essence, my skills, my knowledge, and my desire. My neighbors have complementary skills, complementary knowledge of who and what, and a complementary desire that they must be what they can be. And so, although I'm not a dancing bear on TikTok with 12 million followers or an insane, person that has bought 12 million followers so that they can feel good about the likes that the computer is generating for them within the 12 million people that don't understand, know, or resonate with them, but simply have won some sort of contest or have been scammed into some kind of funnel or aren't even real. But instead, in the B2B space, I want to resonate with those people that could help me and know people that could help me, and vice versa. I want to resonate with people that I can help and know people that I can help, because my neighborhood, my community, regardless of its size, is a community of people, a neighborhood of people that for a lifetime will buy from each other and sell for each other. And so when I started on my journey and when you started on your journey, I made it quite clear that we only wanted two people, just like Noah in his ark. I just wanted two people that will find me two people a year. And as that grew, I gave myself 20 years to double two people. My only intention was two neighbors of like skills, knowledge, and desire as me to help one another and know people that could help one another. And if I could get those two people that would get me two people a year, I know math and I understand the permeation of two. It was 2 million people. I started when I was 50 years old, Shawn. 50 years old, I started, and I said to myself, by the time I'm 70, I will be the most powerful, impactful, empowering person to my subject matter or topic than any other human on earth. If I can get two people to resonate with me to the point where they can get two people to resonate in our neighborhood. And that is why and how the stage theory was created, which you grabbed onto and understood and still do better than any one of the millions of people that I teach now today before I turned 70. I'm turning 56 next week on January 11th, 111. I'm already past where I wanted to be on my 2x2x2 intention.
Well, I laugh because it's almost like you're reading the notes that I wanted to bring up. The Noah's Ark story is something that I love sharing on stages. I love sharing on podcasts. I love sharing when I'm teaching my neighborhood, my community of digital hospitality leaders, because most people, you told me the story when I was interviewing you up at SoFi Stadium, one of your many stages for your show, for the show that now I have on Restaurant Influencers for Entrepreneur. But you told me that most people don't believe in Noah's Ark. And it's a great hook because it brings you into a religious place. And you said it has nothing to do with religion, has nothing to do with the Old Testament. It has to do with compounding interest. And the compounding interest is so interesting from a time horizon perspective. When I look at my own journey of starting a podcast in 2017, not making any money, no brand deals, no sponsorships, nothing until 2022. 2022, once I launched my second show, I had to launch two shows to get to the point where I was good enough, confident enough to go out and reach out to a brand like Toast that would believe in me and say, this is the mission. This is what I'm working on. This is what I've done in the past. But most people quit. 90% of podcasters, 90% of content creators, they start something and they realize, well, what's the ROI? I don't have all the things that I want. What's your message to those people?
Yeah, well, it relates back to understanding the distance between behavior and outcomes, and where those behaviors require the wisdom, like you acquired over those 5-6 years, the faith that it was eventually going to figure itself out, and the humility that you didn't know what you didn't know. That, so many of us start a podcast and wonder why we're not David Meltzer or even not Shawn Walchef. They wonder why. I'll tell you why, because it takes time. It takes time. Here's the lesson that I've learned, and most people don't follow. 99% of the people will quit before they get to 50% of the way there, because they don't require the wisdom, the faith, and the humility by doing things every day, by persistently doing them without quit in the pursuit of their own potential. And because when we do something every day, we learn to love it through the wisdom, faith, and humility. And when we learn to love the activities each day, and we do it consistently every day, and we do it persistently without quit, and we do it long enough, whether it's 5 months, 5 years, or 50 years, it's going to tell you all its secrets. It's going to tell you the cheat codes that allow you to go from 0 revenue in 5 years to 7 figures in year 6. It will take you from 64 people in your neighborhood to 64 million people in your neighborhood. It's just a matter of time. It's those secrets, it's the cheat codes that create the empty milers in the world, not the extra milers, the people that go extra mile every once in a while, and then they use that to justify why they're not where they want to be. It's the people that enjoy the consistent, persistent pursuit of their own potential. Just take podcasting, for example. When I started, a guy named Gary Vaynerchuk, who I was helping with his sports agency, offered to help me with a radio show and transform it into a digital brand, into a podcast. My initial resistance was there's too many podcasts. At the time, there's about 200,000 podcasts.
Yep.
But little did I know there would be over 3 million podcasts. But of the 3 million podcasts, I know one thing. 99% of those podcasts, the podcaster will quit before they get 10 done. 99% will quit before they get 10 in the can. So when people ask me, Dave, I want to start a podcast, I'm like, terrific, get 10 in the can. At least I put them into the top 1%.
Yeah.
And I also see whether they're an empty miler or an extra miler. And the nice thing about being empty milers, even in times where interest rates are high and employment is higher, unemployment's higher, opportunity and money is less abundant than it used to be as far as financing and capitalization goes, that's only pertaining to the masses. It's pertaining to the extra milers. The greatest thing is when things get tougher, it's when things get more abundant for the empty milers because it's empty with the real deal. It's empty with those who know the secrets and the cheat codes. It's hyper competitive with all the extra milers when it's easy. It's actually more difficult for the real deal to get funding during easy times than it is hard times. And that's true with every aspect of business, podcasting, media, content. It's the empty milers that are going to exponentially be rewarded during the more difficult times. And that's why you're where you're at and I'm where I'm at.
When you celebrate your birthday coming up and we look back on this video that we've created that will be on the internet and on every platform, do you think you're going to be thinking big enough? What is big enough for David?
Well, you know what? I have worked so hard to live in abundance. I've worked so hard to live in a world of more than enough of everything for everyone. Limit the amount of time that I'm in that distance of resistance. Limit the amount of time that I'm in fear-based clues and emotion-based reaction called the ego. I'm trying to spend the minimum amount of time. But what I've learned is I've entered into the world of more than enough, out of the world of just enough, buying shit I didn't need to impress people I didn't like, or even worse, the world I was born in, the world of not enough, where I was tortured, punished, a victim, a why me in the world because I grew up with nothing that I realized I was growing up with everything. I pity the fool that grows up with everything. I love the fool that grows up with nothing. But more importantly, what inspires me about understanding abundance is the idea of receiving of more than enough. That this false transaction facade of giving to receive, zero-sum game that everyone's living in, that when I live in abundance, there's no zero-sum game. It's all value add. And what I realize is no matter what, when you reach, at least some of the time during the day, an infinite perspective of abundance, of more than enough of everything for everyone, every one of your actions, words, thoughts, beliefs, and feelings are limited. You actually have to shift your perspective and paradigm to what beliefs, action, words, feelings are best serving me, even though they're limiting, because I know as a human being and the capabilities of human being is not infinite. The capability of faith is infinite, but within the context of understanding limitations, knowing I'll never overachieve my own self-image, I now am in a position where I'm picking and choosing what I do, say, think, feel, and believe that best serves me. So an example would be when I was young, I didn't have the limiting belief that motorcycles were dangerous because it didn't serve me. I know that I live in abundance, but the limiting beliefs that motorcycles are dangerous, it serves me at 56 come this next week. It serves me. It serves me to say that motorcycles are dangerous because no matter what in an infinite world, we're going to limit ourselves. So now I'm just choosing the action, words, thoughts, beliefs, and feelings that best serve me with their limitations instead of a false facade of abundance that could never be attained by the capabilities of human beings.
So I know that I'm one of the lucky ones that my consistent, persistent pursuit to be able to be a mentee of you, to go through the Meltzer machine and to be able to be selected as one of the lucky students. You have opportunities for people that are listening to this show to get your book for free, to listen to your podcast, to come to your speeches, to be part of your community. How do people do that?
Well, I think it's important to know that the majority of what I do is free.
Yep.
But yet, why is it someone like you would pay for my mentorship?
Why would I pay for your mentorship when I didn't have the money? I had a crazy belief.
I can't tell you how many millionaires will tell you why they paid for my coaching when they couldn't afford it. Because that's how you can afford it, is by working with someone that guarantees quantitatively to be a profit center, to give you the results that they know by giving you the coaching, mentorship, and teaching to give you the directions to where you want to be or better. And so for me, I do everything I can for free. Free Friday trainings, free lives every day, free meetups. Every city, I planned 200 this year, free meetups. Then I have group settings. Then I have one-on-one, more intimate, where we have a huge wait list of people that want to work intimately in a one-on-one or business advisory capacity, where I can guarantee profitability, guarantee month to month, just like you do, just like I taught you to do, because I'm not going to do anything that I won't do for free and I won't guarantee. Some people want that intimate ability to have the things that we're doing here today, but there's a lot of people that want to crawl before they walk, before they run. So if you email me, all my books, guides, and exercises are free. My meetups are free. My lives are free. Everything that I do, you can access for free. Just email me, david@dmeltzer.com. If you lose my email, which is david@dmeltzer.com, I will sign a book, send it to you, pay for shipping in a book. I give away more books every year than most people sell in the world, just so you know. Just so you know. But the abundance of the universe is so interesting that by giving away all those books, I've sold more books than I've ever done before. And every video you'll ever see of mine says, hey, get my free book. I'll sign it, send it to you, and pay for shipping. I don't know how that works other than abundance. And if you forget my email, david@dmeltzer.com, then just Google me, David Meltzer. And you'll find me on every platform. You'll find how to get in contact with me. I try to be productive, accessible, and gracious with my man-made given blessing of time. And I study that time every day. Time's my love language, as you know, and I love spending time with you and other people like you that are aligned with my mission to empower over 1 billion people to be happy, to teach them how to make a lot of money like you, help a lot of people like you, and have a lot of fun like you. And I can't think of a better way to live my journey and to live my journey with the right people, right ideas, right frequency in my neighborhood. It's so blessed to have people like you in my neighborhood leading the way. Shawn, I can't tell you how much I love you. I'm proud of you, and I always have your back.
David, I appreciate you more than you know. You do more in one day than people do in an entire year. Thank you for your time. I'm really excited for this series. I will be bringing you more of David Meltzer on our feed, repurposing the content because we're building in public. We believe that every business needs to be their own content company and media company, and David's helping me get there. Thank you, David. Happy birthday, and continued success. Have a beautiful day.
Love you, man. Thank you.